Hello, this is Pastor Malin Smith, New Hope Baptist Church here in Watertown, New York, giving to you your morning hope for Saturday, April the 4th, 2020. And today we're going to be looking at 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 and 16, and this is what we read. Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. Now we can ask this question, what in the world is the world? What is it that John is so concerned about here in 1 John 2 verses 15 to 16? Well, we could define the world as that wicked system of unbelief that is influenced by the kingdom of darkness. And so what John is warning his readers of is how the world can still exercise its influence on believers and how they need to be aware of such things. What can we say about the world and why it is John is warning his readers of it? Well, let's first of all note that the world has hostility towards God. Look there again in 1 John 2 verse 15. Do not love the world nor the things in the world. Romans 8:7 says this, because the mind set on the flesh is hostile toward God. For it does not subject itself to the law of God, for it is not even able to do so. So there in Romans 8 verse 7, there we see described the flesh. The flesh is the combination of those drives and those sinful desires that still remain in the Christian. And they are attracted to the things of this world. Why is that? Because the world is hostile toward God. Well, we can also note, secondly, that the world hastens after sinful desires. 1 John 2:16 says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh. And so we know that the world appeals to the flesh, to the cravings, the sinful desires of people. And so the world hastens after sinful desires. It has hostility toward God. Thirdly, the world has hearts influenced by what is seen. It's totally the opposite of faith. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for and the certainty of things not yet seen. However, the world is influenced and does its influence by what is seen. We read again there in 1 John 2:16, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes. Do you recall in the Garden of Eden in Genesis chapter 3, how Adam and Eve, there they were there being tempted by the serpent, and it says there how Eve saw the fruit of the tree, how it looked good to the eyes. And so we understand how the world, it appeals to the visual. And so the world has hostility toward God. It hastens after sinful desires. It has hearts that are influenced by what is seen. And then there's a fourth thing that we can say about the world, and that is having more stuff. Note again there in 1 John 2 verse 16, not only the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. You know, really, the world is constantly barraging us, wanting us to have more. We read in James chapter 4, verses 14 to 16, yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that. But as it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. That's James 4, verses 14 to 16. And that word that's translated there in James 4:16, arrogance, it's the Greek word that we also find back in 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. Matter of fact, this underlying word only appears twice in the New Testament. And in James it appears as arrogance, and here in 1 John chapter 2 it speaks of boasting. In other words, boasting about having more stuff. And so that's why John is warning his readers, do not love the world, because it will attempt to take away your love for the Father. And so this is Pastor Malin Smith of New Hope Baptist Church, delivering to you your morning hope, and may you have a hope-filled day in Jesus Christ.